So as we make our way back from our jungle excursion, let's role play this out a bit some more. Think about our character's mindset. The quest to get allies is going very poorly. That Sabertooth is still so ridiculously deadly. All that armor class and it didn't even matter. I'm pretty sure that thing just triple tapped Dimsdale. I should turn on my buffs. Yeah, our character's mindset right now is let's not get killed by the saber-toothed tigers. Jeez, they're... Okay, finally. The fact that your characters alternate their attacks between monsters in dungeon combat, and that it's harder to focus fire as a result, definitely can make it tricky to deal with situations like that. But yeah, as I was saying, the quest to get allies is going really poorly. The Azkans were our best bet because they were fellow humans. And yet, just like everybody else, they were completely hostile, attacked us on sight, didn't even give us a chance to try to talk to them or negotiate or form any kind of agreement. So we're here in this deadly land filled with monsters, completely unfamiliar. Our people appear to be going insane for reasons we neither know nor understand. It's starting to seem like we escaped genocide at the hands of the goblin hordes just to watch our civilization perish in this strange, harsh, unforgiving new world. So I don't imagine our morale is very high right now. But what can we do other than return to the Duke, inform him of what has transpired, perhaps fearing his response? The normally kind and benevolent Duke is also succumbing to the madness, growing angry and paranoid when he hears news that we found yet more enemies. He might take it out on us. He might blame us for our failure, even though I don't really see how it's our fault if everybody just wants to kill us on sight. But out of a sense of duty, we are nonetheless going to return. We have to do our best for our people. Go back, report in, see if the Duke has further orders for us. Although really, at this point, I think we're counting more on Marmillion. Because unlike the others, he is retaining his sanity. And he is a very wise and intelligent individual. So if anybody can come up with some kind of solution to this mess, perhaps it's him. So that perhaps is what is giving us hope. The thought of telling Marmillion what we have seen, telling him of our deeds, seeing if he has any brilliant ideas to get us out of this. I'm going the wrong way. Oh, hey, genocidal cave bear. Man, that guy just shot out like a... He was fired from a slingshot or something. Eager to go to his death in the end. Good grief. These giant mazy caverns. Like I said, I do like the variety in the dungeons. These caves that aren't built by any intelligent creatures, but are just filled with horrible beasts. I wasn't talking about you, Jolene. And then there are some of the secret dungeons. I mean, most of the secret dungeons are just more caves like this. But there's the Catacombs of Doom, which it seems like it's some kind of crypt. And it's filled with undead. So that's kind of an interesting location as well. It's another thing where you could perhaps think of an interesting story to explain the catacombs. The game gives no indication whatsoever of what's up with those. The storytelling in this game being quite sparse, which in some ways is kind of cool, because it lets you put your own interpretation on events. And I kind of like that. Okay, I have to go that way. Thank you. And like this rock statue. Why is there a rock statue here? Some kind of guardian? Put here by whom? To guard what? Whatever it was put here to guard, I don't think that it's relevant anymore, and yet still here it stands, performing its duty that it was assigned by someone long dead, long forgotten in ancient times. Its reasons for existence completely forgotten by everyone now alive. Oh, I'll feed you soon, cat. Good grief. Might as well rest now that I'm out here. Usual protocol. I'll edit out large chunks of the long journey back if nothing interesting happens. If we get into any interesting fights, I'll leave those in. If they're just routine fights against enemies we've encountered before, I'll cut those out too. I am irritated by this. I'm not going to put up with it. Get wrecked, wildlife. Beautiful. I love Fireball. Okay, we made it back. So, I guess first things first. Well, save. And then, let's check in with the townsfolk and see just how much crazier they've gotten again in our absence. Why is anybody listening to me? Can't they see I'm mute? Oh, I love those mute guys. Is anybody out there? Just a lot of enemies. Why is it we wash up and scrub down? So yeah, the psychological degradation continues. The Duke should banish you for all the trouble you've caused. What trouble? Get out of town, you lousy bums. Okay. Townsfolk are getting pretty hostile to us, considering that we're going out there trying our best, risking our lives. Hardly our fault that everybody wants to kill us. But the people we're trying to help and protect are... Just stay away from me! I know you just want to hurt me! Wow. But yeah, the people we're just trying to help and protect are turning on us. The ones that aren't just going stark raving mad, which is most of them it appears, so the situation is continuing to deteriorate. If we can't resolve this soon, who knows what'll happen. Our civilization might collapse entirely. So in addition to just checking in with the NPCs, I'm also going to check in with the shops. So, spoiler alert. This is going to be, unless we don't report to the Duke, unless we intentionally avoid that, which I believe you can, but unless we don't report to him, this is going to be our last opportunity to go shopping in the entire game. So I absolutely want to hit the shops and see what they have for sale. And anything that I want, I had better get it now. An extremely expensive wand of fireballs that I can't even afford. There is the confusion spell. And I don't know if it's possible to pick that up anywhere. Adventuring, I mean, as an item drop. So I might want to buy a copy of that. Because that can be a fun one to use. But that's the only interesting new thing for sale. Now, most of the other spells that you can get in this game, aside from Confusion, are available as drops in the dungeons we have yet to complete. I think there's one that you can't get anywhere except the shop, however. And that's Death Spell, which is a very high-level magic user spell. And unless you grind to a ridiculous extent before the end game, you'll never get the opportunity to purchase it. I don't want to do that much grinding. However, because I do want to show off all the content, what I may do is do some hex editing later in the game to give myself items that I wasn't able to purchase because I wasn't willing to do that insane amount of grinding that's necessary to unlock everything in the shops. Here's my handle and here's my spout. That could almost be interpreted in a very lewd manner. I kind of don't want to know about that guy. Do not show me that. What's the High Priest have to say now? Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Drink a potion before you go. His chant is getting pretty silly, but it still heals us, so... he's still getting his holy power even as he's going mad. Let's see if there's any interesting weaponry for sale. I don't have time to waste on you. If you don't want to buy anything, get out and stay out. Oh, okay, there is a lot of interesting stuff. A +3 spear. This is the first +3 weapon. It's probably, because again, I don't want to spend ridiculous amounts of time grinding, it's probably the only +3 weapon we're ever going to see without hacking the save file with hex editing. I don't know if I want to purchase it or not. I mean, obviously as a +3 weapon, it is better than the +2 swords I have on Dimsdale and Lucia. But I might want to prioritize getting a +2 Warhammer for Greldon instead. And I don't think I'm going to be able to afford much, because you can see how expensive all this stuff is. So yeah, I'm going to focus on getting Greldon a better weapon instead. Sell his old Warhammer. Can't get much for it, but no reason to hang on to it now. Even if there is any good armor for sale, we're probably not going to be able to afford it. I don't think there is anything better than what we've already got anyways. We can sell this useless +1 leather at least. I guess I might as well see if I can afford that +3 spear then. Looks like I can. So I was able to afford most of the interesting things. +3 spear, which I'm going to equip on Dimsdale. +2 Warhammer for Greldon. That Scroll of Confusion. Oh. Dwarves can't use spears. Well, as I said, this is honestly my last opportunity to buy stuff, so I might as well blow my wad, spend everything I got. Even though thematically I prefer my elf using a sword over a spear. +3 spear is an upgrade, so there we go. I do like how the magic weapons are depicted as +1 weapons being blue, +2 weapons being green, and +3 weapons being red. I have no justification for this, but that color scheme feels right to me, going from blue to green to red in that order of power. And I really like how, I mean, I know the graphics are really simple and low resolution, just a few pixels, but even so, I really like how they look with the different palettes and stuff. I don't know, I can't justify it at all. I just really like it. I like the way that they handled that in this game. Okay, so spoiler alert, once I talk to the Duke again, we're getting thrown out and we're not going to be allowed back in. So anything that I want to do, I need to do now before I talk to the Duke. And since I've already visited the shops and bought everything that I could buy, really the only thing left to do is speak with Marmillion and see what he has to say. So we're going to do that before we report in to the Duke. What I have suspected is true. We are back in time. I'm so happy. You have proven we are amongst the ancient civilizations of the Azcans and the Oltecs. Okay, well, what I was saying about Marmillion being sane, he's starting to sound a little off his rocker. Even though they did not exist at the same time and in the same location. Who cares? You have proof. Go and find the ancient cities of the world. Have you noticed the Duke is mad? I have. He locks me in my tower, but I know a way out. I recently found a cat. Good day. Okay, yeah, even Marmillion is starting to sound a little crazy. Also, that bit about the cat, you might have noticed one of the random NPCs we've been talking about said how he lost his cat and has been going on about it. I think we just figured out what happened to it. Well, I'm glad that it seems like the cat found a good home and didn't escape and get eaten by monsters or something. Okay, just in case I change my mind about getting thrown out here, in case I decide I want to do some grinding after all, I'm going to create a separate save before I talk to the Duke. And now let's go report in. Alright, Your Excellency, here is what has transpired. Let us tell you of our deeds. I am afraid that we bring ill news, my lord. Things have not been going well. I will not tolerate this incompetence any longer. You will walk through the flames and find the caverns of which I have been told, or you will perish in the attempt. The next time I see your faces, they will be before an army or on the end of a pole. Guards, take them away. Now, I'm pretty sure we're a high enough level at this point that we could just slaughter these guards if we want, but then we'd be the enemies of our town and our civilization, and we'd be outcasts, so that would be totally counterproductive. Even if we have the martial power to defeat them, we would bring about our own downfall by doing so. So that's not an option. The Duke forbids you to enter the city. Yeah, so we have been kicked out. We are no longer able to use any of the facilities, visit the shops, or anything. Now, I find this a bit of a questionable design decision. Later, an event is going to occur which would cause us to not be able to use the shops even if it weren't for the Duke throwing us out, but that occurs pretty much at the very end of the game, so I think that's okay. But we still have another major dungeon to do at this point, which means more opportunities to get gold, more grinding that we can do. We're probably going to gain some more levels just from doing the story, which, if we weren't thrown out of the city, means that we would be able to return to the shops and maybe get some more and some better equipment. but we can't because the Duke had us thrown out, which is just locking us out of the ability to use the shops. I understand it thematically that the Duke is going mad, has us thrown out. It makes sense plot-wise, but you could convey the Duke's descent into madness and increasing anger and paranoia without locking the player out of the city and making all gold from this point on completely useless, by the way. So I think mechanically it was a poor design decision, to be honest. In fact, you know what? I'm gonna do it. I'm actually going to reload. I'm not going to report into the Duke at all. Just in case I get enough gold and gain enough levels that I decide I want to come back and check what the shops have. But for now, I want to leave my option open of being able to come back here and shop if I get enough levels and enough gold to make it worth my while. And just in case that doesn't happen, and even if I do come back to buy some stuff, there's no question that I'm not going to grind enough to be able to buy everything the shops have to offer. So anything really cool and interesting that I want to show off that we're not able to get, I'm just going to hex edit my save file to give myself those items so that I can show them off, just for the sake of sharing them. So we'll get to see all the cool items one way or another, even if we have to kind of cheat to do so. So to wrap up this episode, now that we have the Rings of Fire Resistance, and we didn't actually talk to the Duke, but as we see, if we did talk to him, he's going to order us across the fire. So he's basically telling us to go to that cavern in the northwest, in that volcanic region. Why the Duke would expect to find allies there, in a place that you can't even survive without magical resistance to fire, I don't know, but he has just gone completely insane at this point anyway, so who can really blame him? As for us, I guess we're just going there out of sheer desperation because we're pretty much running out of options. And Marmillion was not much help to us either. Even Marmillion is starting to go off his rocker. All he really had to tell us was go find more ancient cities of extinct civilizations. Again, why we would expect to find such a thing at the end of the Fire Bridge, I don't know. But that's our next destination, and also the last... Well, not really the last of the secret dungeons. The second to last of the secret dungeons is also to be found there. So that's what we're going to be checking out next episode. The penultimate secret dungeon, and also the penultimate story dungeon. So, second to last of basically everything. We're starting to get relatively close to the end of the game. So that's pretty exciting. Looking forward to that, and I hope you'll join me for that in the next episode. With that, calling it there, and have a good one, everybody. See you next time.